back to the We Was Watching podcast. I'm your host, Brandon.
I'm your other host, Chanel.
And we are back to talk about The Boys, Season 5, Episode 4. But before we get into that recap, if you're listening to
Indeed.
us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, you can leave us a review. If it's 5 stars, we'll read it on the show. You can also watch us on YouTube at youtube.com/at We Was Watching. Just search for the We Was Watching podcast. Like our videos, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you can see us go live. We are live right now. If you're listening to us on podcasts, well, not right now, but when we recorded this, we were live. So come check us out one week. You can also email the show at wewaswatchingpodcast@gmail.com. Tell us what you are thinking about The Boys. It's getting pretty deep towards the end of The Boys, so we want to hear what you think is going to happen, and we'll read those thoughts on the show. And you can also follow us on all the different social media accounts, TikTok and all the nonsense that I'm not on. Just search for at We Was Watching. Although I am on Threads. I'm often lurking on our channel.
Threads is so fun.
Looking at
I
all
haven't
the
refined our
ridiculousness.
feed yet. Yeah, I haven't refined our feed yet. My feed, it's more my personal feed is better. But Threads is arguably the best app, which is problematic because it's linked to like arguably the worst company, right? But Threads, I think my theory is because it's like Twitter, but tied to people's real life Instagram accounts and people associated with their Instagram. So more of like their public perception. I think it's a very interesting space. Like I could actually talk about Threads all day because it's like a no influencer space. Somebody posted an influencer video and people was in the comments tearing her up. They were like, girl, this is not cute. Like, we're not impressed by this lifestyle shit. And then another thread, like I send people my friends who are not on Threads, I send them threads of the week and be like, please get on Threads. I don't think you understand what you're missing. So yes, Brandon, you are actually on the correct social media. That's the right one.
I don't really be on there because people are, I hate social media so much. The internet
But
was
that's what
such
I'm
a mistake.
saying. Like this is the best version of it. If you enjoy Threads is the one to be on if you feel that way, is what I'm saying, because Threads is fun.
Is it fun?
Yeah, I just said it. Did you hear what I said? I just explained to you why Threads is great. Did it process for you?
I mean, I get on Threads and I find Threads to be just as ridiculous as all the other ones, except now this is a good thing. Except it's not nearly as many bots. It's actually people, not bots. But I still find the people to be ridiculous. There's this thing that happens, and maybe I want you to tell me this before we get in the recap. Maybe it's me. Okay, maybe I'm just a weird person, or I like to think I'm a pretty emotional person. I go to therapy every 2 weeks. I'm in tune to that. I'm not one of those people that hide my feelings. But maybe I'm just a weirdo, okay? But one of the weirdest thing I see on social media that I cannot relate to in the slightest is if you don't like someone, right? Or someone does something fucked up, that person then becomes not good at anything. At anything. It's a weird thing to me, right? Like someone like a football player does something fucked up, right? Like off the field. Football player does something fucked up off the field. And then you read, he's not even good at football. He's not even good at that shit. Like, what the fuck? And I'm like, what? He's the MVP. What are you talking about? He's not good. Like, am I the only person that could be like, this person's good at football? He's also a piece of shit off the field, trash person? Like, am I the only person that could do that? Is that not capable? Or do you have to be bad at everything once you do something fucked up?
No. Well, that's why I like Threads, because I feel like people are a little bit more realistic on there. I don't see that as much. I think people go for the shock and awe on other apps, but there's just something about like
I mean,
Threads
you telling me that's
more
Threads? I'll be there all day because I see that every day.
Okay, for example, I recently texted my friend. I said, I sent so I sent that thread. Like I said, this girl went on a date, and she said, "Get ready for bed after a date I won't be repeating." And it's her coming in the house, putting her purse down, and going and like making tea. But it's like there's an upward angle. There's like the show of her coming and taking her shoes off. There's cuts for each shoe coming
So
off,
it's
and
fake.
people were in the yeah, and people were in the comments like, so somebody said, every day I hope someone at Meta doesn't ruin threads because the responses to this are fucking flying, LMAO. And so the whole thread is people in the comments like, I know you didn't just come in, set the camera up, walk back out, and walk back in. Like, it's just people clowning her like, girl, we do not do that over here. Or another one where Tom Hardy, okay, this is just what it is. I don't know. I guess you could get this on Twitter. There's a Tom Hardy photo of him looking good, and somebody said, this is a Tom Hardy photo where dudes say he let himself go. Brother, if this is letting yourself go, then where exactly are you going?" And then somebody named Book Boner said, "He can let himself go all over my chest." And that is the kind of comments we get. It's just so people just say the funniest version of things on threads. So I would say that yeah, I don't know. I would really just say that that is something I would recommend. I love me some threads. I will start sending you the funny ones because they really get I get a good key from threads. Follow us. We was watching on threads. I'm at Chanel Creating, and Brandon, what are you creeping on? Why so serious?
No, I don't have threads. I just be on. We
Oh,
was
you
watching.
creep on the. Okay, actually, he does have threads, but he doesn't know it. So, yeah, let's just
And
call it we was watching.
when I post something on threads, I always put dash Brandon, so Chanel doesn't get, so she don't get the flack if I say something stupid.
That's yeah, he posts like the president. He signs his first full name and title.
That's what important people do. Let's get into the recap.
Once upon a time in the projects, yo.
Chanel, this was kind of a filler episode of The Boys. What'd you think about it?
I mean, I think it's I could see that, but I think it kind of pulled a lot of things along. So I don't know. I feel like filler. I feel like when people say filler, they mean it's a show. It's something that wasn't necessary, but they did it to kind of like make the show order make sense or kind of get from one to the other. I think it was more like we can't have these grounded characters or any type of like relationship that you actually care about if they don't slow down sometimes and have them have the characters have their dialogue. So that's how I thought about it. But yeah, I definitely didn't call it a filler episode.
Episode 4 starts off not long after the end of the previous episode, and we see Chanel's like mirror image, Firecracker, comes into Homelander's room, and
that's funny.
Homelander is looking at a photo of him and Ryan acting weird, and he sniffs and he's like, "Oh, I know what that smell is." And she says, "Oh shit. You know that smell? That's my new perfume line, General Lee's Secret. That's what I got on, General Lee's Secret. I'm glad you picked that shit up. It smell good, don't it, dog?" And he was like, nah, I'm not talking about that. I smell my daddy on you. The fuck you doing with my daddy? And Firecracker got a little shook, and she goes, we prepping for an interview. Like, I got an interview, and we was just prepping for that shit. It's Homelander.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because it's like he knows when people lie. But I wonder if like he just let little white lies go all the time, or if he doesn't care, or if people do little white lies better when they're not terrified of him. Because I was curious about him. Like, I guess when you think about it, it's just like anytime Homelander isn't blowing people up for like sniffing around him or like saying like accidentally saying the wrong thing, we've lucked out because he could pick up on everything if he wanted to.
Yeah. He's crashing out, so he's picking and choosing.
For sure.
Homelander says that he visited an angel and he foretold his destiny. She said, "For real? What'd he say?" And he said, "I'm gonna be God." She says, "You gonna excuse me? You gonna be what?"
She's like, wait, we're running back because I would have thought it'd be like, okay, I've identified the Antichrist, or Revelations was real, or alien or angels really do look scary, but no, it was something even worse.
And she says that there's no higher she goes, there's no higher calling than serving the Lord. And he says, no, no. I'm not talking about I'm born again. I'm not about to, I'm not gay anymore. I'm not that. I'm going to
He's
be
not
the
delivered.
Lord. Yeah, did he say that? I was delivered. Is that what he said?
I am delivered.
I'm
You got to put
delivered.
that T on the end for Andrew, for Caldwell.
Yeah, I am delivered. Yeah. And he said, I should have had that clip. That would have been funny. So then he says, no, I'm not serving the Lord. I'm is the Lord. And Firecracker was like,
The Lord is
oh,
me.
all right. Cool. What you need from me then, dog? He says, you always knew that I was special. You knew I was the one. And so I've chosen you to spread the word of my coming. And Firecracker says, how you want me to do that though? Because, that's a little weird, right? And he goes, we got the biggest media apparatus on the planet. And Jesus would kill for our marketing. That's such a funny line.
That was a good one. Yeah.
Even though she looks mad, uncomfortable while this is happening, but she says, you know what? I'll do anything for you. And
I mean, at the end of the day, she has to. Like, I don't think that you can really. I think that the thing is, there's, as we talked about, the boys now has departed from the comic books, and it really is more of a better reflection of real life and politics right now, even though it is fantastical content. And so my point in bringing that up is that it's a situation where you were getting money and fame by exploiting his grandiosity and his power, and being able to be like, hey, whatever he says goes, and so I'm gonna stand behind him while he makes a path, and I'm gonna benefit from it. But now he's actually reaching that megalomaniac thing that was inevitable. That is the reason why people with foresight or understanding of history or compassion for others were concerned about him. And now you have to go along with it, because quite literally here you are destroyed. He could kill you in a second for disobeying him, and then just move on to the next person. So I think the problem is, like, people are not willing to sacrifice, and this is how sacrifice themselves, and this is how these situations end up worse and worse over time. And there's direct translations to that, and like in terms of the people you've seen who were literally years ago never Trumpers, and are now like pushing the narrative or advancing the administration because they're getting enriched, or they're getting something out of it, or they see a future play for them, or they've been made promises. Like, all of this relates to
they being blackmailed. That too.
Yes, but I think that people, but here's the thing, that goes back to the sacrifice thing. Like, you need to like, if you got to be willing to sacrifice yourself, because in this instance he will actually kill her. So if it's like under duress of like stress of death, I get it. But in real life situations, just like, oh, you won't have this particular career in public service you think you want. Like, okay, you'll have to work a regular job like the people who you represent. Oh, whoa, wow, my God. Like, you won't be rich. Oh, fuck no. Like, the problem is you don't get to enrich your family and then say, oh, I felt I had to do it, because you didn't.
Well, yeah. I mean, you never have to do anything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's not there's some interesting parallels. And then I do think it's very interesting the use of women in these spaces to promote messaging, or like be a part of the like having female press secretaries, I think is always very interesting, because there's power in women communicating, and then there's also something manipulative in Firecracker, right? And like her, and it, I guess it's like I'm trying to figure out if it's just unfair. Like, if this was the whole opposite, and if like they were all leftist, and Firecracker was using her power to like feed hungry kids and give out reproductive health care, would I call it I guess it would still be manipulative, but it would be like chaotic good, in my opinion.
I will say this. We had Trump 1, we had Biden, and we have Trump 2. There's been a bunch of press secretaries, and by far the worst one was the man, Sean Spicer. By far, he was the worst. Even in Trump's crazy world, he was the worst. So maybe.
But that's my point.
Maybe it's not.
Maybe
it's not a man's job. We can't do that. We can't.
No, the women are effective. It's just that's the problem. The women are effective. Firecracker is effective. Firecracker gets the people going. That's why, like, they have the guy. Oh, which one of his actor's name? The guy on the marketing team, the black guy. They have him in the back. They don't have him on the front. But because Firecracker's taking his copy and making it real. It's why Quentin would never be as big as Drake. But Quentin has the talent. You know, like, he has the writing talent, but Drake has the performing talent. There's something to this.
So then we cut to see Ryan just waking up. And he in the bunker with Tara and Butcher. And Butcher tells Ryan, "Hey, dog, this like the Empire Strikes Back." And Ryan's like, "The fuck is that?" It's like, "What you talking about? So we watched Star Wars together. Like, what's wrong with you?" He's like, "We watched Star Wars. I ain't watched that shit." And he was
it's like, it is. This would be way more impactful for Butcher. For kids, Star Wars is like the original Dune to kids these days. Like, if you go watch that old Dune and you laugh at it, that's how they feel about Star Wars. That's how old we are.
I don't know. I feel like people hate the new stuff more than the old stuff.
No, people hate the new stuff because they want the old stuff and they don't realize the new stuff is the same as the old stuff. It's just not canon. So there's nothing you can do. Like, it's contemporary. There's not going to be any nostalgic thing about it. There's not going to be anything groundbreaking about it. But I'm saying that kids don't have any reverence for Star Wars. So, like, to him, it's just another movie. Whereas for some people, it's like the beginning of sci-fi, and they're, like, it's like, whoa. I don't know. Have you gone back to watch a 1983 Dune anytime recently?
No, I've not.
Please do. And if you just watch a couple scenes from it, you will then be like, oh, okay, this is what the kids think Star Wars is. And when you see Star Wars, you think the old Star Wars to you might as well be the new fancy dancy one. Like, that might as well be CGI back in, Mark Hamill might as well be CGI for you, or James Earl Jones. Like, it all feels the same. For kids, they're like, fuck, what the fuck is this? So anyway, it makes sense that Ryan's like, I actually don't know what you're talking about. But then I have a question for you. Is it still a spoiler if he's 50 years old?
No.
I think so.
Because he spoiled Luke being his daddy. I mean, Vader being his daddy. And he says, Ryan's like, let me go back and whip his ass. And he said, no. Like, you should have waited till I told you to get the virus. I didn't tell you to go fight that motherfucker. I said you was the best. I said you was the best weapon. I didn't say you was going to win. Like, the fuck? And so Ryan said, at least I was brave enough to go over there. And Butcher says that there's a line between bravery and stupidity. And Ryan was like, well, you don't give a fuck about me. And Butcher looks like he did, but he don't know how to be like, he don't know how to tell him the truth that he does. So he just, kind of looks away. And then when he walks away he's like, I'm gonna go get you some water. And then when he comes back, Ryan gone. So Ryan took off. Back at the lab, is getting ready while listening to Method Man. Did you know that song? Chanel? No?
That he was getting ready to?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like classic. It was classic He had his t-shirt back on. Like, they didn't have him wearing, Dickies and scrubs all. Like, he's wearing some crazy stuff. So we got an classic shirt. And it feels like a last season, and like we were turning back to the beginning kind of thing. So I was excited for him when I didn't even think he looked that bad before, but he had his glow back. Like, he went back to his classic So he had his shirt, his chain, he had a beard. I bet you he smelled like whatever that, he smelled like Burberry cologne probably. He's ready.
Microphone checker, swinging sword lecture, closing down the sector, supreme neck detector. You don't know the Rockwilder? You don't know that song?
No, I don't happen to know.
How do you not know the Rockwilder? How old are you?
I'm not.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God. I'm so.
Also, imagine I was a little girl. And my dad's from the South, so you got to think about what music I would have been listening to. He was
Everyone
not
listened to the
pumping
Rock
Wu-Tang.
Wilder.
Okay.
Literally, everyone. I see. This is why you can't tell me I can't talk about you being young, because you don't know stuff like this, classics that everyone
Okay.
of a certain age knows.
What I'm telling you is I don't know any Method Man lyrics by heart. I'm sorry. It wasn't canon for me.
You don't
growing up.
know METHOD, man. METHOD, man. You don't know that song?
So once again, Southern influence in my music. My dad was not. My dad just does. My dad to this day doesn't listen to any New York song, any New York rapper. He's like, I just wasn't introduced to it.
You don't know this?
Don't get us. No, turn it off. We're gonna get.
We ain't gonna get it.
Guaranteed, that's getting a strike.
No.
No, I've heard all of these songs. I said I don't know the lyrics.
You know that
by heart. Yeah, I've said I don't know the lyrics by heart. I didn't say I don't know who Method Man is.
I could have fooled me.
Okay.
I thought you were gonna say this.
Zaddy. He just, I mean, Les Alonso is a Zaddy from day one.
I'm talking about Method Man.
Method Man's cute, but I prefer Last.
You prefer,
probably because I have that, like,
you like short.
Because I have my Latina. No, because I have like a Latina obsession. Like I'm fake Latina, so that's probably why. Because he's actually Afro Latino, and I pretend like I'm Afro Latina, so it would make sense.
All right, listeners, if you 5'9", you got a chance. We should know you got a chance. 5'9", 5'9ers. All the 5'9ers out there listening. So MM is getting ready. Listen to the Rock Wilder. And Frenchie is working on the virus. Butcher comes in and is like, how long this shit gonna take, man? And Frenchie's like, he got rid of all the shit. I gotta build this shit from scratch. Stop rushing me. Fuck. I'm weeks away. Like, it's gonna be a few weeks before I get this shit. Huey says, if that's the case, Huey's like, all right, if we're weeks away, then we gotta find this V1. We need to take our ass to Fort Harmony. MM and Frenchie are like, I don't know about that. And Huey's like, Homelander has Stan Edgar. He probably on his way over there right goddamn now. We need to go get that shit. We can save Kimiko. We can save Annie. We can even save Butcher's bitch ass. But if Homelander finds it, and he's immortal, that shit ain't gonna matter no more. It's gonna be curtains for all of us. And Kimiko asked Butcher where Ryan went, and Butcher's like, that nigga left. I'm sorry. I don't know what you want me to say. And so Huey makes a smart ass comment, and Butcher's like, oh, you got something to say, Huey? Where the fuck is Annie? I ain't seen no bright lights nowhere. Where the little blonde bitch with the lights in her eyes? Oh, she left. Oh, all right. I thought you said something. So Huey shut the fuck up. So then we cut to Annie landing in the backyard at some, nice suburban home. And we see a white man shoveling snow, and it's Annie's daddy, Rick. But he just keeps shoveling. He's like, I don't want shit to do with you because, she is kind of a terrorist. Like, in this world, she's like depicted as a terrorist. So he just keeps shoveling the goddamn snow. She just blasts the snow away. Like, all right, you done? He's like, how the fuck did you find me? She says, I got the internet, dog. I can find anyone. And Rick was responding. He's like, all right, you gotta get out of here. Then we see a door open. A little boy comes out, calling him daddy. And Starlight's like, I got a brother? You ain't telling me I got a brother? Oh, no. And so then we cut back to Vought Tower, and Sage is on the phone with the president. He's telling him we need to defund public schools and give vouchers to the Homelander Freedom Academies. And then she hangs up, and Soldier Boy comes in, and he's like, I don't like to be summoned. He said the last time, what did he say? The last time a black woman called me was, who was, he said, I forget the actress she said.
Oh, no, you have to write these things down because I didn't watch it just now. Oh, he said somebody, it might as well have been Cicely Tyson. It's like something so ridiculous. Like they're really going back into the archives to name like gorgeous black women. So And it's so funny because she's smart enough not to get bothered by that, but his little comments, his little references are actually, why is he likable? He's
Because
not.
he's likable.
But
He's very likable.
But
Yes.
but he's like he's like a good Chevy Chase, because this is how Chevy Chase would talk, and you'd be like, ew. But for some reason, and maybe it's just the actor just acting his ass off, because I'm like, he's such a misogynist,
I
chauvinist,
try to tell you
dickhead.
all the time, fucked up, problematic people can still be funny and entertaining and likable. It's been happening in the history
I
of
think
people.
it's just his timing. But I'm saying, like, what is it about him? I think it's his face and his timing. Because if he was talking like that and he looked like an actor with a less CW face, I don't think he would be as appealing. Like, it's like there's something about his how he comes off. Anyway, I'm still trying to figure him out. But whatever he said did make me laugh.
So then he says, where the fuck is my cocaine? She's like, we can't give you a big bowl of cocaine. He said, that's in my goddamn contract. She said, what? She said, what?
Hilarious.
He's like, I'm supposed to have a big bowl of cocaine in my trailer every morning when I wake the fuck up. And she was like, you can take it up with Homelander when he gets back from Fort Harmony. He said, what the fuck's she doing there? And then Sage is up to something because she's trying to rile this dude up. She's like, oh, you don't know? He going to get that V1, dog. Yeah, you should go with him. You should head out there and go with him. Like, don't let him go by yourself. You should go with him. And so he was like, fuck it. All right, he leaves out. So then we see the boys walking to the west. They're almost at Fort Harmony. And Kimiko mentions that there aren't any birds or animals making sounds. So it's like, it's all weird and shit. And they see like some corpses out there on the ground. And Frenchie thinks it's like some monster that's been tearing shit up over here. So then they cut to the Deep eating sushi in his podcast studio. And he says, oh man, this sushi's so good. It's the highest honor a fish can have, to give his life for the Deep. And Black Noir knocks the tray out of his hands and explains that, you know, he's been doing everything, including not speaking, like selling this shit. I'm being Noir, I'm selling this shit. And the Deep was like, oh, you want to talk now? He was like, look, I needed a win. And the way I could get that win was to bring Stan Edgar to Homelander. He says, now put your goddamn mask on, sit down and do the podcast. And Noir says, you better watch your back, dog. And Deep says, what? Well, you know, Homelander loves me now. I'm his boy. You ain't finna do shit to me. I got that protection. I'm ready to go. So then we cut back to another part of Vault Tower, and we hear some moaning coming from a bedroom. And we go in the bedroom, and it's Ashley putting her wig back on after fucking the old father. And they had a good old time. They had some. Oh, go ahead.
We gotta slow down here. Because we hear a scream, and then the first cut we see is something in the wall. Did you know what object was in the wall?
I don't remember seeing anything in the wall.
Okay. So what happened was, so what Brandon's about to describe is that we come in and we find, because I want him to go back and say what they said. We come in and Ashley is pegging Father. What happens is Father has that super scream. He has that like thing that like sends out like whatever sound waves,
like
and
Black
like
Bolt.
shit, whatever. Yes, okay, whoever the fuck that is. Black Bolt. Black Bolt is not a good name.
Yeah, Black Bolt. He's an Inhuman. And
Okay.
Black Bolt,
So anyway.
Black Bolt, whenever he talks, it's like the most powerful thing in the world. So he never talks. So he just does everything. Just
damn, he's strong and silent type. Wow,
yeah.
I would.
And when he fights somebody,
when he
fights someone, and he wants to use his power, he don't even, because if he screams, it can like destroy a planet. So even when he's fighting someone to use his power, he'll say something like,
"Oh, he kind of fine. Hold on.
drop, and then it'll go and knock the person down. Black Bolt.
See, you talking about a man who doesn't communicate enough? That's my type. Unfortunately, I'm very attracted to. So, okay. The point is, she was pegging him, and his super scream made his ball gag fly into the wall. That's what that was.
Oh, yeah, so
if you go back and watch the first shot, I said that's why I was like, "Do you know what that object was?" Because I was like, "What is that? That's some type of sex contraption." And then Ashley's like, "Oh man, when we got teamed together, because we all knew this. Like they look like a redhead and a light-skinned black man is definitely a PR couple. We're like, okay, they look okay. I have a side note. I'm gonna come back to it, but they definitely are not a couple that fell together or was in love, because Ashley is just very asexual in general. Like Ashley never gave like sex scandal or whatever. Ashley, like she said, she went to Vassar. She was actually just trying to do good, and then she got caught up in the Matrix. Oh Father, I don't know his backstory, but
what you mean Ashley is asexual? What are you talking about?
Who did she hook up with?
It was with that weird dude that was like assaulting Huey last season. Remember in the dungeon and they had Huey down there? That was Ashley's dude she would go to. What are you talking about? She's the freakiest person on the show.
Okay, she's a deviant. She's a deviant sexual. I guess this makes sense. Oh my God. Yeah, I forgot. Because the thing is, you miss some of the stuff when you don't that's why I rewatch shit from the beginning before I do a new season. Because I forgot about that. Yeah, okay. She gives asexual like at work. Like I guess I'm just saying she was never like she was very serious at work, and that was her stilo. So my point is that I wouldn't have seen her like dating a guy who runs a mega church. Like that wouldn't be something organic. So you knew it was some type of setup, some type of scheme that Todd set up. Ultimately, though, I think what I'm trying to get to is that they were a fake setup couple that ended up finding out that their kinks match each other. So Oh Father likes to get pegged and she likes to do the pegging, and they're going out of their way to gratuitously give y'all the biggest anal plugs and dildos in the store. Like when you look at the spread, it was just ridiculous. Like they were just making it ridiculous, and I just that's what I'm like, y'all do it too much. Like y'all got every single.
So no, I keep trying to explain this to you on all of our shows. It's like you know, it's like you're not listening. These are super powered people. Your little normal, your little normal sex stuff ain't gonna work for them.
You're right. No,
it's like so. Supergirl comes out in June, right? Supergirl comes out in June.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things with this Supergirl, one of the things with this Supergirl story is from this short story called Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. Fantastic comic book, unbelievable comic book. It's a graphic novel now too. She is going through some shit. Okay, Kara's going through some shit, but Kara can't get fucked up on Earth. It's just she just can't.
Right, so she has to go where the sun is red, right?
Yeah, so she leaves and goes to a planet where the sun is red, so she can get fucked up because she could just drink all fucking day on Earth and be perfectly fine, right? It's the same thing. It's the same thing in these universes that's more mature when they're having sex.
I never thought about it. His booty hole can handle that. In fact, he prefers that because anything else is not making a dent, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like you ain't never heard Lois. You ain't never heard Lois say that Clark is a 1 minute man, right? You ain't never heard that.
Oh my God! I pray she uses water-based lube because honestly, she might need hybrid. Yeah, because somebody like that is just not compatible. I will say that of all things. Like I feel, how did Debbie deal with it? When you really think about it,
that's what I'm saying to you.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to say to you. So then you break up with them, and then you break up with them, and you go meet
you can't go back
Joe on the street. Like, what's that going? What are you doing?
Well, Joe needs to just be open-minded about like enhancements because science can really do a lot right now for the bedroom.
Yeah, but it can make you a Vulturemite. So then, Sika. I lost my train of thought. Where are we?
Realistic.
Oh, here we go.
They're pegging.
So we go inside, and Ashley's putting her wig back on after pegging her old father, and commenting.
Oh, and by the way, when they hook up, her back Ashley, Voldemort Ashley. What do we want to call her?
Yeah, Voldemort.
Voldemort is in on it. Whenever Voldemort, like she's not left out when they're hooking up. By the way,
Did you see what they
in case you were
called this
worried about
room?
Mm-mm.
The Sin Pit. Sin Pit.
I mean,
Ashley admits that she married old father as Sage's suggestion, and she did it for optics. But man, that shit was worth it. And he checks his phone.
They end up matching kinks.
He checks his phone to see something concerning, and back Ashley was like, "Oh, we broke? What?"
And he was gonna lie. He was like, "I'm going for a church meeting," and back, and Voldemort is like, "Hell nah," and he's so mad at her. Which I do appreciate because when you think about it, this is a very weird. They're both weirdos, and I appreciate that he's just accepting Voldemort Ashley as a throuple.
Ashley said, "How are we broke? We bring in shitloads of money every weekend, and we don't pay taxes because we a church. Like, how are we broke? What are you doing?" And he says, "Man, attendance is down, dog. We need to fix that shit up." And Firecracker comes in and was like, "Oh, I know just a thing. I know just a thing."
By the way, it is funny for Firecracker of all people to see what they're doing, because it's like, at some point, you're a hypocrite because you're around hypocrite. Like, your whole thing is being morally justified and God-fearing, and you walk in on that and just go, "Oh, well, I guess it's not my business." Like, okay, girly, you're just here for the money, huh?
So the boys are getting closer to Fort Harmony, but don't see Homelander yet. And as they get towards the facility, Kimiko asks Huey what's going on. He's like, I'm I miss my girl, dog.
This is hilarious. I'm sorry, keep going.
He said, "I almost died, and she made it all about her. That bitch." And Kimiko was like, "What?"
They all said what? And this is the first side. So that was a little bit out of character. And I'm thinking, all right, Huey, just every once in a while, somebody got to let it off. And you know what? I think that this is what I say about comedy in general. This is not what he was saying was comedy, but like, this is my take. I think that offensive things are funny when they are well intentioned. If that can be understood.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it's like, if you actually do respect and love your wife, maybe y'all have a way of talking. It's kind of like, I don't actually think this is a good example, but it's kind of like how Eric used to talk to his ex-wife on Industry. Like, they had an understanding. I don't know if he would talk to anybody else like that. That's what they liked. So anyway, if that's cool with them and that's how they talk to each other, I think it's okay to let some steam up. Like, it's like telling your husband he's a dickhead sometimes. Like, it's not nice, but sometimes you got to say it. So that's all I thought was happening here. I did not actually anticipate what we were walking into.
So then, as they get closer to Fort Harmony, they just see a field of like dead animal carcasses, just ripped to shreds. And they're like, "What the fuck is here?" We cut back to Annie's father's house. His new wife comes out, Kathy, and they put all the blinds down. You can see a Homelander sign on the outside. And Annie sees a photo of his dad at New Vaultland. She was like, "When I was a kid, you ain't never get on no goddamn roller coasters." And his wife was like, "What? What you mean? He loved roller coasters. We stay on a roller coaster. Like, that's his shit. What you talking about with it?" And
okay. I will say this is not the same, but it's kind of the same. I would like to know what you would do or say. I found out that my dad once took his other kids to Disneyland.
See, you gotta be a better kid. You get to go. What?
That's real traumatic lore I'm dropping, and you just made it about me. That's crazy. That's insane. That's insane. Oh, wow. People will go back and clip this one day and be like, "See, I knew they were going to break up one day, this show, because Brandon used to play too damn much." Wow.
I didn't mean, I was talking about in general. I wasn't talking about you. I was just making
But I just said something specific about me. And I was like, what? Like, that hurt.
I can imagine that hurt. That's how Annie felt. You ain't never given no roller coasters with me.
That's what I'm saying. And then you're like, wow, wait, like you do this with your other kids? Wow. Okay, I guess fuck me then.
So she knows that her daddy
So
is
anyway, I felt for Annie this whole episode. Yeah.
she knows her daddy's a deputy, and
And the
she
deputies are basically, they've gone back to their roots of slave catching. Like at this point, they're just there to take down dissidents and people who, and mind you, like I get it. If we, in theory of law and order, if we have designated that some people are dangerous or a harm to other people, then it is okay to preemptively kind of like try to prevent crime. But I think actually I take that back. It's not okay. I guess what I'm trying to say more like my political take here, because this is a reflection of real life, is that any type of preventive policing we do that isn't about like fixing the core issues around like core needs not being met around like wages, safety, housing, whatever, like in all seriousness, anytime you turn crime fighting into like, okay, we know these people are going to commit crime, so we're going to just stop them by doing XYZ. You're like a cog in the machine almost, and that's what they are here. So like he's aware, he's like, hey, I was a cop, I signed to protect and serve, asterisk. I don't know if he really could, if he's lying to himself or who he's lying to, but it's a lie. But then he's like, okay, and then they turn into starlighter takedowns. And so basically like whenever they go on their riff where they're trying to go after a bunch of starlighters, he just calls off work. But nobody knows his past, where he came from. I will say though, L's stepmom, because I mean L is a lose win. W stepmom, because she was so cool and happy to see her, and I think that, if in a weird way, I think potentially that shows that he really does care about her, because he could easily have moved on with his life and never have told, you know what I mean? Like he could have, there's so many lies he could have told his maybe he didn't tell the son, I don't know, but there's so many lies he could have told the wife. And the fact that she's so receptive to her, I think shows that he really is like, he really has been trying to hold it down for her, but also like not lose his job and his standing in his community.
welcome to the chat, Human Hope. So
Hey,
then
Human Help.
he said, you out here rounding up starlighters? And Mason was like, you mean terrorists? And
But again, if that's what the government is telling you and
Yeah.
you are underinformed, you're gonna be like, why would we help? Like when people try to tell, the problem with good and bad and no nuance, like Brandon says in other instances, is that you get to this point where you could just be pointed toward in a direction of someone and led astray, basically.
Yeah, anyone could be bad.
Yeah,
if
he's
the
so
government
annoying.
wants
Though,
you to be bad.
the little son. Exactly. Yeah.
And so the Kathy was like, shut the fuck up. And but he goes on, he's like, Annie's a soup killer, a soup serial killer. And his dad tells him to shut up, and Annie apologizes. I'm sorry, maybe I should get out of here. I'm putting y'all in danger. And Kathy was like, look, I got this tender ass pot roast in the oven with some potatoes and asparagus. And I used my ninja slushy, and I made frozen Shirley Temples. You staying for dinner, okay? Go put some clothes on upstairs, take a shower, because your ass stink. You stinking up my fucking house. So go take a shower and come down here and eat dinner.
I fuck with her.
So then
she was like, you ain't going nowhere. You know, your mama not going to call me and cuss me out because I'll let you go without a sweater.
We go back to Vought Tower. Members of the Seven are meeting with the Vought film execs to discuss like how they're going to roll out Homelander's new God campaign. And they pitched the idea of Homelander performing miracles, flying around the holy sites and making him sit on the throne. And Ashley was like, yeah, that sounds good, but what if people will say like, you not God though? And she was like, Father was like, we can tell her that a Homelander church would bring, you know, make this Homelander church, we can get that bread back. Like, shut the fuck, like, play along. What you doing? You get that money. So then one of the women there, Courtney, was like, only 22% of Americans accept him as God. And it'll be hard to get into the 70s where it needs to be. And the worm is there. We saw him earlier. He's like, we need to tell a story. The Firecracker says at the whiteboard, and she says, we're trying to sell a product that no one's asking for. And Firecracker says, things that Jesus preached, turning the other cheek, taking in foreigners, caring for the poor. That don't sell no more. That don't fly no more. She says we need to be selling America with a real American hero as a savior, the Democratic Church of America. And home and
Honestly, he's cooking. Honestly, that's like, I hate to say it because what they're doing is diabolical, but it's like sometimes you got to look and be like, that is the answer. That is the way to introduce it. That's going to get a lot of people in the seats, and a lot of people aren't going to think about it for some reason because they've done enough work over the decades and centuries to make people think that Christianity and government need to go together. So people are going to be like, oh yeah, like of course that should make sense, when in reality, like that's the whole problem. The whole point of the country was that they should not.
and so then people won't accept if they call him Homelander God, and Firecracker says, I know what to call him. And then they cut to Homelander and Soldier Boy walking through the woods where the boys were earlier. And Homelander asked Soldier Boy, what changed your mind? Why you come help me out? Soldier Boy was like, Firecracker told me that you looked up to me. Homelander was like, I ain't say that shit.
Oh yeah, she said that during a pillow talk.
And then asked Soldier Boy about Clara, who's Stormfront. And Soldier Boy said that, oh man, I mean, it wasn't that big deal. We had sex a couple times, but you know, she was just a hookup. All right, she came over. You know, we got it on for 20 minutes. She left. That's all that mattered. You know, that's all it was. And Homelander says, mm-hmm. I guess we related in more than one way, huh? And Soldier Boy was like,
yep. Father, son, Eskimo brothers.
Soldier Boy says, where's she at though? And Homelander says, oh, she died. She unalived herself. I'm sorry.
Died by suicide. Yeah, died. And he's like, there's no way. And it's just like, brother, what a long story. I don't even know how to explain it to you.
So then in Fort Harmony, the boys are searching for the V1, but they starting to bicker with each other. Like they snapping at each other and everything.
It's getting nasty.
Even they about like try even getting to the point that they might start fighting. But the only person who seems like normal is Frenchie. He even gets between MM and Huey when they was about to like throw down. He's like, we got to focus on finding the V1. So they cut back to Annie, and she tells him like, oh, I saw that Homelander side outside. He was like, the office mandates it. We have to put it outside our house. And he says, what you said earlier, whenever they got to go catch some starlighters, he say his ass home. She was like, why don't you say shit? And he said, the last guy that said some shit was disappeared. Look, I don't believe in that shit, but I'm not finna lose my wife and child. I'm sorry. I'm not about to, no. And he said along with their family. So he's like, I'm not about to take them out. And he's like, I don't want that to happen. She said, I came to you from closure, but I wasn't expecting this shit, to be honest with you. And so Annie said, I thought when you left, you ain't want me no more.
Kids, I'm gonna be a better father than he ever was. And I sure as hell don't need him for that, because ain't a damn thing he could ever teach me about how to love my kids. How come he don't want me, man?
That's what she said.
Did I ever tell you my joke about this?
Yeah, but I forget the joke.
Me and my best friend, whenever a situationship falls through, we say that line. How come he don't want me, man? It makes us laugh about it, so we let it go. It's very important to find the correct Fresh Prince monologue for the situation you're going through. Yeah, I continue. I have more thoughts later.
So then, so he then pulls out a box with all these clippings and stuff from Annie's movies and newspaper articles and shit that he'd been keeping tracks of her. And he said, you know, I didn't always approve of your choices, but I was always proud of you. And maybe even more when you quit the 7. I was like, that's right. And she was like, so why'd you leave? He said, man, Your mama told me that V was going to give you a better life, and I believed her. And then once we gave it to you, she started lying to your ass, telling you the chosen one and chosen by God and all this stuff. He was like, man, I just couldn't keep lying to you. I couldn't be a part of that. She wouldn't let me tell you the truth. I couldn't be a part of that. So somebody had to go. And I was like, all right.
Okay, I damn near want to. I know we can't do it, but I damn near want to pause in the middle of this for what we've been on because he's bringing up so many things I want to discuss. But put a pin on it. Put a pin on the light skinned redhead dynamic, and put a pin on like these complicated parent child relationships. We'll be back to that later in the episode.
So then Annie says that I wish you'd have reached out, said some shit to me. She tells him that, you know, it must run the family though, because I also left somebody I care about. And he tells her the people who love you aren't weaknesses. It's the reason why we fight. And then they hear some loud music in Mason's room, and Annie was like, let me go talk to him. And he was like, hey, listen, before you go up there, just knock. Because, you know, he liked the, he figured out how to use the lotion. She was like, oh, okay, I got you. So they cut back to the lab, and they've got these blueprints, and they see some more dead bodies. And Frenchie was like, I know what's happened here. Toxoplasmosis. They said, what the fuck is that? He's like, basically, you keep bringing in these goddamn spores, and that shit is going to make y'all angry, and it's going to make you fight each other. And Huey says, like The Last of Us?
No, they were saying is that, like, the chemicals over time would seep into the sewer system. And then he said something about something you would eat. And anyway, okay, it's something that you would get from eating something. But then he was like, no, what happened is the chemicals are seeping into the sewer, and now they're coming up through the air, through the water, through whatever. And so we're breathing them in, and this comes up later, but Frenchie's like, oh wait, I'm immune because I do too many drugs, which I think is a very I'm okay with that. If anyone thinks that's a plot hole, I'm okay with that because I think that's hilarious.
So then she says, oh, like The Last of Us? And Frenchie says, nah, that's just Walking Dead with mushrooms. He then is like, all right, listen, so we got this intense drug, but I've been doing drugs my whole damn life. That's probably why this shit not fucking with me. It can't break through the other shit that I've been through. And then we see Butcher realizes that Homelander and Soldier Boy are coming there. So MM and Butcher start heading to fight Homelander and Soldier Boy. And Frenchie's like, chill the fuck out. Y'all not thinking straight. They will kill you. They will kill us. They will get the V. The world's over. We gotta get that V, figure this shit out. And then he sprays them all with deer urine so Homelander can't pick up their scent. Remember that, Chanel, when you get in trouble. Just keep some deer urine in your purse. And if somebody's trying to find you with a police dog, spray that shit, you get away. There you go. Just saved your life.
Thank you.
So then we see a brief clip of the Deeps podcast, and then we see Annie walking into it because he's.
I'm sorry, but they did something with the Deep Pod. Like that is, there's such a moment right now talking about the manosphere and toxic stuff. The boys is like on that. They're so, like we said, on the gill right now, like on the fin, that I can't knock it. Like I would actually unironically sit and listen to this podcast. It is too. They're cooking.
Yeah, that's what Human Help just said. The Deep and Noir having a Manosphere podcast is so crazy. Plot Twist Queen, welcome to the chat, said Frenchie was the only one with sense. Yeah,
hey,
you know, because he had them drugs. So
yeah,
then
he said, look, this ain't. He said, I got a tolerance, honey. Have you ever known somebody who had a really high tolerance?
Yes.
Yeah, it's almost, it's like, damn, you said me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. You would take a CBD, but I think it's
I'm
just funny to me when somebody.
And I lived in Baltimore, but our club that we worked at was in DC. It was called Love. It was the biggest nightclub on the East Coast, and we threw parties there for years.
KOD.
Yes, and we threw parties there for years. Anybody from the DMV knows. And we would have to drive from Baltimore to DC on Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. It's about an hour, and we get out like 3 in the morning, and we would be drinking because we get bottles, and it's the whole thing when you're club promoters, right? And I would always be the person stuck driving back because I would always be the one that's not drunk. So I'd have to drive back, and my friends would be passed out in the car drunk because they drink, and I'm the one with the tolerance. So I gotta drive back. That's me.
But were you drinking?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I would say this. I guess I'll give you that. I think what I'm saying though is like if you have so much drugs in your system that new drugs don't affect you,
Oh,
that
no, I
is
don't know nothing
you
like
do
that.
yeah, you do need to talk to somebody. And then it's like how is he still that into he's that whatever the word is, he's that immune after being in that camp for a year? It's like that boy got a problem. That man's brain chemistry is forever altered from them drugs, them drugas.
So back in Mason's room, he's watching the Deeps podcast when Annie walks in, and the walls are covered in posters of female suits. And he was like, "Don't worry, I ain't never put your ass up there." And she was like, "Good." And she tries to convince him that she's not what they say she is, and she sees a Dunkin' Donuts bag on his nightstand. It was like, "Oh, Dad used to take me there too." And then they connect on that. So back in the lab, MMM finds a safe that's been punched open.
But mind you, I knew that little boy was on his phone the whole time she was talking to him, and I was like, "Yeah, this is not gonna go well." I'm like, this nigga's tweeting. Like, there's no way he has that little attitude. He's acting like a little bitch. He's your stepbrother, your half brother who doesn't know you. He thinks you're a terrorist, and he's on his phone. You think he's playing Brick Breaker? No, that little boy is telling on you. I was like, the fact that she's not peeping that is making me mad.
So then back in the lab, MMM finds a safe that's been punched open, making him wonder somebody already got the V. Frenchie notices a small bag of heroin on the floor, because of course he does, leading him to believe that it was Bomb Sight that was there. He was a super on Soldier Boy's team back in the day. So Huey's like, oh, he would already have V in him. So why the fuck would he need more? So back at Annie's dad's house, police officer shows up because Mason snitched on him, like Chanel said. He's like, oh, it was a joke. Don't worry about that shit. And then he goes in and sees Starlight. He's like, I gotta bring your ass in. And he takes his gun out. There's real heightened energy, and Starlight's about to light shit up. And his dad jumps in and is like, calm that shit off. And he was like, look, we've been friends for a long time. You know me. You know my family. You know I'm a good person. I didn't tell you this shit because, it's crazy out here in these streets. But everything they said about her is a lie. And if you love me, you'll let her go. And to that white man's credit, he said, all right, then, I ain't trying to get sent to a camp. So, like, if she's still here in an hour, I don't know what you want me to do, dog. Because then I look suspicious. But
I mean, but to be fair, it's like I did appreciate, hey, look at a cop using de-escalation tactics instead of riling things up and putting his knee on someone's neck. He said, hey guys, I'm here to de-escalate the situation. I want everyone to hear each other. Let's calm down. Put the gun down, Craig. And they had those, and they found peace. And I think that actually was the smartest thing, because she could have easily fucked him up, and he could have easily shot her, and she probably would have survived, but then it would have been a whole thing. So I do actually think he made the right decision. And I know that the people who need to watch this show aren't, but there's something to be said about you trying to do your job, but then realizing that, humanity needs to get in the way most of these times. And if more police would do that from a perspective of like people who don't look like them and aren't easy to love, that'd be great. As Human Help says, but isn't Frenchie bisexual? We need more gay love in this show, either 2 women or 2 men. Please, and see the rivalry taught us nothing. Yeah, Frenchie, I guess that's just in relation to like Frenchie and Kimiko. I don't think we've had a lot of queer romance. I guess what I will say in their credit, though, Human Help is oh yeah, Plot Twist Queen. When she went to the room. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna let me finish saying what I was going to say to Human Help. Brandon's popping up the comments. I'm getting common ADHD. Squirrel. Okay, so when the reason why I think they probably don't have as much like gay relationships is because in this show everything is very gratuitous, and I feel like it would potentially be like offensive in the wrong way. Like we can make fun of Oh Father getting pegged because like if a man wants to do that, actually it's fine. Like who cares? And it is worth like being silly or funny about. But I feel like they're Maeve was queer, but I guess we didn't see her really love on anyone. So I guess what I'm saying is they are making
with her girl.
Yeah,
and
like
we saw a bunch
fun-
of gay sex at Herogasm.
Here it goes. Right. Okay. And so what I think what I'm trying to say is, yeah, like I don't think they want to make a mockery of it, and I appreciate that. Also, the funniest thing about any of the VOT International YouTube stuff is whenever you go on their page or clip, people are commenting, "Release the Herogasm files," and they're referring to the real life files we need to release. And I think that it is cathartic, but also release Epstein files. And then Plot Twist Queen said that boy had Jergens because when Starlight went into her brother's room, he had like an old school, mind you, this was the most unrealistic thing this show did, because where's he getting magazines from? Little boys are not buying magazines anymore. So he has like all these cutouts of different like Firecracker and different like of the white women's superheroes that he's attracted to. And she's like, thank God. And he's like, oh, you're not on there. And she's like, oh, she thinks he's apologizing that he doesn't like look up to her, but then she realizes because of Jergens, no, this is his wank wall. And so it's great that you're not on there, because that if he didn't know you were his sister and had you on there, that'd be disgusting. And if he did know you were his sister, had you on there, you should have been the one to call the cops.
Well, first of all, somebody need to teach him about coconut oil. Much better. Secondly, it's 2026. He don't need posters on the goddamn wall. He got a cell phone and a laptop there. What the fuck you looking at posters for?
That's what I said. That's not realistic, but I do love the aesthetic. I think like a wall putting if you never cut out a collage, if you never went on the internet and had to look up the names of actors from shows that you like and had to print their names out and put let me tell you what I did, and cut those little pictures out and put it on some pink construction paper and glue it and then take it to school so people knew who you had a crush on.
Mm-mm.
I don't know.
I did have a poster of a woman when I was younger. You want to take a guess who it was?
Oh, Pam Grier.
No.
Excuse me.
Well, I did have that, but no, that's not who I'm talking about. I had two. Pam Grier was one.
Takara.
No, I was older. When I was younger.
Oh, Nia Long.
Mary J. Blige.
Mary J. Blige, interesting. I don't know why I would see that. Okay.
Mary J. Blige.
You like when she be stomping in them boots, huh? That does it for you?
Those thighs.
You can't see the thighs. That's the whole point. The boots go up to her panty line. That's the funny part.
See, Human Health says Brandon knows. That's right. I just gave him good advice. So then Soulja Boy and Homelander at Fort Harmony looking for the V1. And Soulja Boy said that the last time he was there, he was coming off the front lines. He insults Homelander about like, how are you so famous and don't get no ass? Like, what's the point? Like, what do you do all day? And Homelander was like, actually, I had plenty of sex with Stormfront, because he knows that pisses him off. And so they walk by the same body the boys did earlier, and that alarm that MM set up earlier when they sprayed themselves with the deer urine. And then they leave. But they get into the boys get into another argument when MM says that they were planning to destroy the V rather than give it to Kimiko or Annie. And tempers rise, and they get into this big ass fight. And Homelander and Soulja Boy are also feeling the effects of this toxic shit, spores. And Homelander begins to poke at Soulja Boy, talking about how it was his brother that was the real hero and not him. And he looked all this shit like, oh, I looked you up, dog. I looked at all the files. You ain't want to be in the trials. You was scared to shit, but you wanted to be like your brother. And so you took the needle to be Soulja Boy. And he's like, but you tried to chicken out when they did that shit. They had to close the door to lock you in. And then and Soldier Boy the whole time just walking, ignoring the shit, and they walk towards the room, and Homelander walks in front of him, and then Soldier Boy locks his ass in the room, and it's like a soup jail, and they've got like some enriched uranium in there that can fuck up the suits, but it's not powerful enough to kill Homelander. It's just gonna make him real sick and disgusting looking, and he can't escape because it's gonna make him weak. And Soldier Boy says, "All right, dog."
Well, yeah, I mean, he escapes eventually, but it's like it's gonna take him a long time. It's basically like it's like microdosing kryptonite. Like when it's like when they had Superman in that cell with NoHo Hank, and he had to like slowly but surely work his way out.
Butcher's looking
I
for
forgot
Huey.
You don't know who NoHo Hank is. You suck.
No, I don't know who that is. Someone from South Park?
No, it's from no, it's from Barry.
Butcher is looking for Huey and stumbles across Homelander. He starts to laugh. I don't know Barry. He starts to laugh as he sees that Homelander is weak in the radiation. He asks if Homelander's dad put him in timeout, and then says, this is Butcher. And then Homelander's like, you got the V? Oh no, he says, you got the virus. He's like, maybe I should go get the virus. He's like, you got the virus? And Butcher.
Yeah, he basically tries to tease him like, I'm gonna go get the virus and kill you right now, but obviously he shouldn't have done that, because if he had the virus, he had him, like, he basically had him where he needed him. He had him in a vulnerable position where he could have gave him the virus in that little chamber and it would have been done. And so that lets him know, unfortunately, that makes it very clear that they don't have the virus anymore.
And so he's like, oh, you don't got that shit. So then,
which is fucked up, because now Homelander knows he can run amok.
In another room, Huey, Emmett, and Kimiko are fighting, but they trying to kill each other. And Soldier Boy is going through all these drawers looking for the V. He sees Frenchie run by, and he shoots at him, and Frenchie's trying to get away from him. And Soldier Boy is like yelling at him, like, you got the V? Where's the V? And this is what Frenchie said to Soldier Boy.
What? Huh? Oil? Who said something about oil, bitch? You cooking? Oil?
And got out of there. I don't know what you're talking about, V.
Good one.
And so Soldier Boy follows him. And Frenchie says that the creature, he takes him to this room, and it's like an old soup or something stuck on the wall, causing and Soldier Boy knows him.
It was one of the or like basically. So this is the lab where Soldier Boy is created, kind of like the lab where Soldier Boy was turned into. So okay, sorry, I put it in better terms. So this is where Soldier Boy went from Steve Rogers to Captain America. But the thing was, the whole thing about Steve Rogers, he was like a noble, humble guy who just nobody believed in him, but he had the heart. The idea here is that Soldier Boy was an asshole who like had parent money or had family money and wanted to like prove people wrong by becoming a superhero. So I think the guy was like one of the people who worked at the lab, and so they had animosity because they was talking shit about him and his, they were talking about shit about him before he became Soldier Boy, and so he was like wanted to hold that against him.
Plot Twist Queen says, where do you think his hate stems from? Whose hate? Let us know whose hate you're talking about, because you might be just a little bit behind
I think
us.
if you mean Soldier Boy, then I think that what I'm assuming is that it's his origin story. Like he was never enough, and he became Soldier Boy just to prove that to people. Whereas like he's like just literally evil Captain America, like bad intentions, didn't care about the country, just wanted to be stronger than other people. It was whatever Homelander was saying to him on the walk up, like about his like background research on who he was and his family, it probably rings very true. Yeah, so I think he always did what he did because he had something to prove.
So he tells him to kill the creature. Soldier Boy refuses, and Frenchie begins like goading him into it. And because Soldier Boy is affected by that toxology, it riles him up, and then he does that nuclear blast thing and destroys the dude. And then we cut to Kimiko, and Huey's hiding out in this thing, and she was about to kill him. But when Soldier Boy kills Quinn, everybody else goes back to normal. We cut back to Annie, who thanks Kathy for the dinner, and Mason apologizes for calling the police. Her dad says that he hopes they see each other again, tells her not to make the same mistake he made. Don't give up on the people
Yeah, because
you
he
love.
does. It is. Yeah, like I think what I do appreciate is as hard as this was for her, and I know it doesn't make it any better, I will say that there is something in the parent expressing remorse and like saying what you like, even if it can't get the time back, even if it can't get the feelings you felt and the tears you cried back. It is very nice that her dad was not the worst, because we have a lot of different examples of dads on this show, and in a weird way, even though he isn't able to show up consistently, I guess at least he said, at least he affirmed her now. I don't know if that makes her feel better, but as soon as she leaves, she breaks down, and I'm like, yeah, fair.
Back at Fort Harmony, Homelander breaks out of the radiation chamber finally. He finds Soldier Boy, and we see his eyes begin to glow like he's going to laser him. Soldier Boy tells him B1 wasn't here. Homelander's like, are you crying? And Soldier Boy's like, just do it already. And then at that point, Homelander turns and walks away. He's like, you pitiful. At the hideout, Frenchie is continuing to work on the virus. Kimiko comes in and thanks him for helping him, apologized for calling him names. He said, there's a time where that shit was true, but that's not who I am now. That could be whoever you need to be. And she says that she's not trying to change him and that she just wants to change herself to let go of her chaos. But you love chaos. I mean, that's not what she wants. He was like, so where's that leave us? I thought that was weird and came out of nowhere. And so then, lastly, Huey's recovering. Annie
Wait,
shows
you thought what was weird?
the whole Frenchie and Kimiko breaking up potentially.
Yeah. Oh no. That. I mean, I think they're trying to lead it to a. Whatever they're doing now is setting it up for like there's going to be some final decisions coming down with like whether if there is a virus and how to use it and whether or not people sacrifice themselves. And so I feel like they may be setting stuff up for that, but I can understand like human help set if it feels a little bit like there's some filler happening.
Huey's recovering. Annie shows up. They embrace. She apologized for leaving him. He says it was a good day for her to be gone because they might have been fighting.
Bruh, fighting, they would have all been dead, because if she had gotten zapped up, it would have been a wrap.
They kiss. Butcher's watching recordings of Soldier Boy. MM comes in to join him. Butcher apologizes for what he said. MM was like, no, I meant every goddamn thing I said.
But
and
we
Butcher
still
says,
cool, which I appreciate.
You want to scrap? He's like, no, we cool. They crack open a beer.
Yeah, he's like, no, fuck you, but we still the boys. We still them boys. Like, it is what it is, but fuck you.
Oh, Plot Twist Queen says they're setting it up for one to sacrifice. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Right. Exactly. Like, I think there's something weird happening where, but I will say this, though. I think they could have made it more like, not sadder, but they could have made it, I think it's something else if they are in love and happy and then they have to sacrifice, like just in terms of drama, but I'm not, that would be mean of me to say that I want to see somebody die, because I don't.
He flips the channel to a broadcast with O Father announcing the Samaritan embrace is changing.
Mm-hmm.
And then off stage we see Ashley ask Firecracker if she don't believe in Jesus anymore. Firecracker says she did, but now she believes in Homelander. But she don't look serious. O Father says that they are now the Democratic Church of America. He invites Homelander to the stage, calling him the prophet of the Lord. The lights go out. Homelander comes in. They pan to him, and then that was the final shot of the episode.
Okay. So they have at the final shot, they pan him, but like, no, they zoom in on him, and that light that he saw before when O Father did the scream, he was in the crowd. It's that same light that's associated with him seeing like the angel of the old bot lady with the milky boobies.
Madam Stillwell.
What's her? Madam Stillwell. Okay.
The MILF.
Here's the MILF. Here's my. Okay, my thought is that you know what happens next based on the comic books?
I told you that what's happening is not how the comic books ended. None of this is in the comic books.
Right. I'm just saying that what I'm saying, okay, so you don't have any idea where they're going to go from here based on the comic books is what I'm asking.
No.
Okay. So then I can get my theory off. I think there's about to be a massacre in that church.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
I think it's going to hit him. I think that light is coming for a reason, and I think that what's going to happen is that he's going to he's going to mess around and feel that in that moment and be like, you know what, I'm going to show them I am God by punishing any non-believers right now. And I only say that from like a director, like thinking about what they're including in here, the fact that we see that light and we've seen it only a couple times in different contexts. That's what I think.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think, I mean, they're not doing what they did in the books. Although the very end of the book, they could still do that, but I think that would piss way too many people off. So I don't think they're going to do that. But the main
Okay, yeah, don't tell me.
the main ending of the
We're
book,
so close.
the main ending of the book, they're not doing, like, because like at this point they're just like Homelander's in the White House and all these people are at the White House doing shit. It's like it's a whole thing. That's not.
Well, maybe
happening.
Homelander's in the White House, ends up in the White House here, but it is like a very sad, like it's only him and the people that are still alive. Like I can see them doing that.
Do you want to do a? Yeah. Do you want to do a what you've been on? Chanel?
Yeah.
Don't watch TV.
Okay, what have you been on?
Hi guys. So I wanted to talk about a couple of random things that came up while we were talking. What I've been on is I'm trying to watch Daredevil. I'm having trouble getting through the episode, but I'm trying. Just so you know.
I don't know how you're having trouble getting through.
And I wanted to come back to a couple things. So one was I was talking about how like Ashley and O'Father seems like a contrived couple, being that like, you know, a redhead and a light-skinned black person. And then it made me think of Ahmed and Pinky or Punky and Ahmed. Okay, I know you're not onto this, but it's one of my friend's favorite series is Punky from SNL and Ahmed, I don't know where he's from, but they do couples counseling, and she's a very ridiculous character, and their little couple and their escapades on this little series they're doing is giving me life. So I realized like, okay, that couple does actually work, and it is actually good for marketing. And then just going back to like the parent-child relationship thing, I think what's really interesting about this thing with Starlight and her father is like, again, having to accept that your parents are human and they can hurt you, and that like you like he loved her but not enough to sacrifice his life and stay with his crazy ex-wife, his unhealthy ex-wife in that situation. And I do think there's a lot wrong there. It reminds me of like, what show is it where the mom left and the boy became evil because of the dad? And it's some superhero show where like the mom left and the boy became an asshole, and if the mom hadn't left him behind, maybe he'd be better. And there's like a thing on the beach.
I have no idea what you're talking
No, hold on. It's like somebody has to go into his head. Oh, Stranger Things. Thank you. Okay, woof, correct. So
what?
His whole character is a bully. He's a terrible guy, and then you find his backstory is that his mom left when the dad was abusive, but left the kid behind. So then the kid got abused because the mom left behind, and it's like, that's fucking crazy. And so I say that to say that's kind of what her dad, Starlight's dad, did, is like leaving her in an unhealthy situation instead of taking her, which I think is an issue sometimes, like custody wise or whatever, but it's still is shitty. It made me think about like how complicated relationships are, and so I now have a question for you.
Okay. What's the question?
Do you think it's possible to have a relationship without cheating?
Yeah. Well, it depends what your
Okay.
definition of cheating is.
Well, cheating, like and you know why I'm asking this, right?
No.
You didn't see the news?
What news?
You didn't see that Megan Thee Stallion and Klay Thompson broke up?
Oh yeah, I saw that. I'm not surprised by that. They celebrity couple.
No, you're missing it. You're missing why this is important. But here's the point I want to make.
Why is it important?
It's important because Megan has been through a lot. And this was a man who was loving her out loud the way she's supposed to be, and they made themselves a very public couple. And so it's like very disappointing that it ended the way other relationships end. Like it's just so cliche, it's so hacky. But somebody put out a list, and I will give them that. They said a list of women who've been cheated on, and it said the first person on the list was you. And then the list included Beyonce's mother, like, oh my God, every woman you could think, Oprah, like every woman you could think of has been cheated on. And it was like, so honestly, it just made me kind of sit and reflect on like, damn, is cheating really just a part of life? Like, should we stop? Should we stop? Should we stop expecting monogamy? Should we stop expecting monogamy? I mean, even people who are monogamous, should we stop expecting that? That's my question. But it sounds like you think it's a thing. You think people should stay monogamous and it's okay.
No, I think it's a thing if the two people agree to it. That's just
Okay.
it's a personal thing. Some people
Okay.
don't give a fuck. I bet you those people are probably happier. I would guess. That's my guess, at least. You should talk
Okay.
to. You should ask Charmaine about her thoughts on this next time she comes on.
Is she poly?
She was. Her husband passed a year and a half ago, but they were.
Okay, we need to. That would be an interesting conversation. Okay, I'm just curious. You guys in the comments, please share and tell me what you think. I think the Klay Thompson Megan Thee Stallion thing is just upsetting because she's been through so much so publicly. This girl is literally an orphan who made it big as a musical artist after her last parent passed away. Her parent who was her manager, and then she's like chaotically confident in terms of like her sexuality and her openness, and then that coalesced into her being like a victim of assault, of domestic violence, when someone shot her. And then she went through a thing where the internet tried to make her a liar and someone who takes down men over Masters and Rock Nation or whatever the fuck. So basically she went through all of this like stuff online where she was just trying to live her life and run her race, and people were trying to take her down. And so then she dated a man who was grimy and like cheated on her in her bed or whatever. And so when she started dating Klay, it seemed to be like something that you could be excited about because hopefully like she's actually being treated well. But no, that's not what happened. And so it's just disappointing because it really does make it feel like if you could cheat on Megan Thee Stallion, then like what hope do I have?
Listen, I don't understand. I said this to somebody else. I don't understand these NBA players. If you're in the NBA and you don't want to be in a monogamous relationship, then you should say that. Be like, no, I'm in the NBA. Like, that's not how I'm gonna get down. And then you let the person that you're talking to decide they want to be involved in that or not. I don't.
With that, yeah, I agree. I mean, with that said, too, though, I think what I just want to say about this is I think they're in the statement or in one of her posts, she said like, that he told her he didn't know if he could be monogamous. And there is actually something to be said about the mental health of men and how they're raised, and like the idea of self-esteem, and self-esteem being tied to like chasing women and like getting women, but like there being no framework for a lot of y'all and how and what to do when you actually get in a relationship, or how to really enjoy being loved, because a lot of men just want to be wanted and chased, and like that fantasy for them is enough, that they don't realize like on the other side of it, when things get hard or boring and the work is there, that actually is where the more rewarding love can come from. So I think there's just something to be said about men who are addicted to the chase and how that can be a little bit unhealthy. And I tell my guy friends, especially when they were single, all the time, I tell them like, oh, y'all are thirsty, and I want y'all to know that, because I think women get shamed a lot for being thirsty, but the truth is that like single men are the thirstiest of all time. That's just my testimony.
Yeah, but then a bunch of people online started saying that he was cheating with this WNBA player, and she was like, "That
And
shit wasn't me."
her statement wasn't convincing, but TBD.
Oh, see, I thought
TBD.
we supposed to believe women.
Yeah, we believe women when they say that they've been. Hold on. We believe women when they say that, hey, a sexual crime or an assault happened to me. No one else was there, so you have to believe me when I say that I've been treated wrong, because that man has no reason to tell the truth that he treated me wrong, because there's no other witnesses but me. We believe women then. We don't necessarily believe women when like they get caught in a lie and it's like, oh, damn. Like women are fallible too. I believe women has to do more with like the underreporting of sexual assault
I
and
know,
crimes.
Chanel. I was joking. That
I
was
know,
a joke.
but there's some people who don't know. That's the thing. There's some people who don't know. Yes, but yes, no, we do believe women, and we also support women's rights and wrongs. And with her, I would just say, TBD. Let's see, because. But I will say, like, whoever did cheat with him, you are wrong, because you knew that man was in a relationship, and you knew it wasn't no open relationship, and you knew that if he was on your phone talking about, oh, that's just me, we open, she don't want to tell nobody. No, you should have asked for her number, asked her yourself, because now you about to be Rachel Roy, you about to be Becky with the gay hair, you about to be ass is grass and kind of reputation, but it's whatever.
All right, so we'll be back next week with episode 5 of The Boys. And hold on, we got a question before we go. Human Help says, can you briefly review which characters are fully human and which characters have superpowers? I was confused after this episode. I thought Mother's Milk got shot with a bullet. He did get shot, but it didn't
He
kill him.
did. I was confused about that.
It grazed him. It wasn't like a real shot, but no, in the comic books, they all have powers. Huey, Butcher, Kimiko, Frenchie, they all got powers in the comic books. They all took the V, but in the show, they don't. The only one who has powers is Butcher. Huey took that 24-hour V for a while that was fucking him up, but he stopped, and so he don't have powers. And then Kimiko, obviously, she's basically Deadpool. Like, she got Deadpool powers. That's why she always come back from shit. So it's just Butcher and Kimiko that's in The Boys that has powers in the show version. So we will be back next week. Thanks everyone for jumping in the chat, and thanks everyone who's listening on the podcast later on. And Chanel, do you want to do the outro?
Yeah, I'm just glad we could get to y'all back to back on a Sunday, Monday stream, because as you know, we have now The Boys comes out next Wednesday. It comes out this Wednesday, and then Brandon's covering Daredevil. I'm not going to be able to catch up to Daredevil at any point in this season, so that's just going to continue to be a video we post to the channel. So in terms of live streams, you might get one from us later this week or next week, depending. I know I've like been talking for years about this job, and it really is potentially going to change my schedule next week. So we'll see what happens. But if not, then you guys will see us on a Saturday, Sunday, or Monday or Friday. We reserve the right to stream any day. But continue to check us on socials to see when we're going to stream. And we do try to post. But if you subscribe to the channel, you will get an hit that little bell button. If you get YouTube notifications, you will get our notifications. Otherwise, guys, thank you for being here. Thanks for joining the chat. Human Help and Plot Twist Queen, and also who else was in here? Oh wow, Brandon, this chat was going off all day and I was missing it.
Yeah, that's normal for you.
Okay. Before we wrap up, I just want to shout out. So Human Help said, yes, they showed the boy. This is going back. They showed him with lotion and Kleenex. That boy has been going to town on his joystick. Very funny. And then I thought we were going to see it. So Human Help was talking about the fight and how they were going to have a bloodbath. Human Help said we make some good points, and Brandon knows. I'm surprised you didn't put that on there, but that you are old school. And Plot Twist Queen also guessed Pam Grier and Nia Long for the women on your wall, so that is good. Coconut oil was crazy. That was a crazy admission. Soulja Boy was in fact going at his head the whole time, and it was shocking. They are. Oh, did you see this? Plot Twist Queen said Slick might be implying that Stormfront was his mother, but I don't.
Well, they alluded to that last season.
Ew. Okay. And then yeah, I this is something important too. Plot Twist Queen says, I can't wait to see what Sage has planned. Sage has definitely been like quiet in the background doing she's up to something. And so I look forward to seeing what that is. And then regarding the cheating, Plot Twist Queen says, I think unfortunately it happens more often than not. It's possible to find a monogamous partner, but it requires a lot of vetting. And then we got into Human Help's question about who has powers. Back to cheating, Plot Twist Queen says a lot of it's rooted in insecurity for men. And then Human Help says, thank you. This is very interesting. So guys, thank you so much for being here in the chat. I usually am on it. Today I wasn't, and that's okay. Go ahead and like, subscribe, comment, send us an email. Let us know how you're feeling. We really enjoy and appreciate y'all. And before I go, I'm just going to make sure we didn't have any new comments on the podcast. We're good. Okay, amazing. You guys rock. We love you very much. See you next time. And remember, if We Was Watching is watching it, then you should be watching it too. Good night.